Hey, welcome to the Two Dudes Talking Movies podcast. I'm Cam.
I'm Luke.
And today we're talking about one of my favorite movies ever. I was really looking forward to this. My mom gave me this suggestion like last week. She's like, you talking about this? And I was like, yeah, why haven't I? We're talking about the 2011 film Hanna, starring Saoirse Ronan, Cate Blanchett, and Eric Bana. I think this is one of the first time I didn't need to look up the cast. Wow,
Had it on memory.
Yeah, I love this movie that much. So pretty much what the film is about Saoirse Ronan, who plays Hanna, and her dad works in kind of like it's not the Secret Service, like
I think it was CIA or something.
CIA,
like
yeah, and and then they get into it. Him and Cate Blanchett get into who's also a Secret Service agent, and which results in Cate Blanchett's character coming to kill Hannah's mother. He was trying to kill Eric, but in a car crash. But she was firing the shots, and then the bullets were coming through, and then they crashed to a tree, and the mom died, leaving Hanna to just be fathered, or to just have a father in her life. So Hannah's dad's been training her for the day that she wants to go venture off into her own, where they're very secluded off the grid in the middle of nowhere, and he presents this opportunity to her, like, hey, this is a situation. If you want to go out and do what you feel like you need to do, just press this red button, and this will let people know. This will alert that we are here, and the CIA will come, but we'll be gone by then. Or they have the big master plan of how they want to go about things, and the movie's great, in my opinion. I think that's
Can we get a glimpse of why it is and your general thoughts?
About why it's my favorite?
Yeah.
This is one of the few movies I remember where I knew I loved movies. My mom showed this to me in 2012. It came out in 2011, but I want to say she gave it to me she showed it to me in 2012. It was super fun to watch. It was a lot of action. I'm not even a big action movie guy. And I remember I just had a lot of fun watching it, and she let me stay up late to finish watching. I remember that much. I think it was one of those movies where I probably shouldn't have been watching it. I mean, my mom always showed me movies. Well, not always, but she showed me a couple movies that weren't for me. Like, I'd be 9, 10 years old watching PG-13 movies, but who really cares about ratings? Or like even rated R movies. It's really great. I think this is one of the first time that I'm looking back on it where I saw a female protagonist like just whooping ass, kind of. I love Annie too, but she's not in there. She's whooping ass. She's like 7, but it's a lot of fun. There's one scene in particular which I love. We'll talk about that later, and then the score is very interesting and it's very fun. We'll just leave it at that.
All right. So going into this, I looked it up because I hadn't heard of it when Cam told me this is what we were watching, and I saw the posters for it, and I don't think I watched the trailer, but I saw the posters, and it looked like something my dad would watch. And I mean that in the way that he chooses the most obscure movies to watch that I have never heard of or wouldn't have seen if I didn't ask him, what are you watching? And I got to say, I was pleasantly surprised by this. This movie, I apologize for, I did not understand how much sauce it had.
Yeah.
That's great. It was actually really, really good. It was really amazing. There's so much to like, in addition to what Cam had said, from the acting, the story, the cinematography, the score as well, I will agree. So much good stuff.
I was looking forward to hearing what you didn't like about it. And I still am. I'm pretty sure there's something there that you don't like. But
it's only one thing, and it's not that big.
That's fair. I look, the movies I love, I wonder what other people say they don't like about it. Not to argue, but just to get a different perspective. But I was really looking forward to saying your point and then saying my point. It's really a great movie. I don't even think it touches 2 hours either, so it doesn't get you in and out, but you're not touching 2 hours. It's not a long run time.
What do we want to touch on first then, I suppose? Let's
get into, I don't know if I want to say action. I think we should just start with, action's kind of, I don't know. All right. What's the first thing you like about it?
First thing I like?
Yeah.
All right. So on my notes, it's like a numbered list, but it really doesn't matter what order you go in. But I think I'll start with cinematography because I think I have the most notes on that. There's a lot of like panning and tracking cameras as it goes through things, and lighting and shadows are a huge part of this movie too. I think where like there's this one scene where Ronan's character is trying to break out of this prison thing, and as she like goes through, there's so many like lights flickering around between her, and she's like weaving in and out of the shadows to like get around guards and stuff. It's all really well crafted, and that's aided by the design of everything, where it's like this liminal space feeling concrete hallway that's absurdly tall for its size. Like you could fit maybe 2 combines on top of each other to go through it. And that's my Midwestern side showing. But like it's an absurdly weird liminal space of a set design, but it looks so good.
Sure.
And then the way that the lights reflect off everything, the guards can't see anything with their flashlights on as the shadows go. And she's like weaving in and out of behind them, slashing them with knives and stuff, taking them out. Really good.
Yeah.
So good. One part that I got used to, but it kind of almost gave me a headache at first, is the camera cutting. Because it's so quick.
But it's so effective because we kind of needed to understand how. I'm not like.
Yeah.
I'm just saying how necessary it was because it's a lot going on. You got these lights flashing, and spoiler, she killed. Well, she's killing people the whole movie. She killed this character. This is the first death we. No, it's not. This is not the first death.
First major character death. We could go with that.
First major character.
All
death.
right.
So
right.
Yeah, I won't explain it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is like this is an intimate death. It's just it's a one-on-one, in a one-on-one in the room, and then we're like, oh, she's like sick, and she just escapes, and all hell breaks loose in this whatever underground
prison thing.
Yeah. It's but I do get you though. It is a lot of movement, so it's a lot.
Because like, I don't know if it was just this. Because when I got to this scene, right, specifically in this hallway as she's escaping and all the lights are going and the camera's cutting, I didn't know if it was just the lights getting in the way. But then there's later combat scenes that also have the same camera, and I'm like, yeah, it's just the amount of cuts. And so there's some scenes that like don't cut that much that I can follow well, and I like the most. Like in the combat related scenes. The subway fight with Eric is probably my favorite. It's really short and simple, but it's the most cohesive because it doesn't cut a whole lot throughout it.
It doesn't cut at all.
Yeah, so like I'm just watching it happen and I'm like, cook. But so then there's other scenes with Hanna where she's doing all these quick flashy movements. I think towards like the final battle where she's like climbing scaffolding, and it's just cut. And I'm like, slow down. I can't follow where you're at. I get it eventually because I got used to it by this point. I'm an hour and a half or so in, but slow down.
Too much.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So, but that was like one of the only gripes, but I got used to it after a while. It wasn't like kicking me over the head constantly to where I'm like passed out in my chair of like an aneurysm watching it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Let's see, what else do I got here?
I want to talk about that fight scene for a minute because I'm gonna forget. Yeah, it took me. I didn't notice in my first watch. How old was I? I was 2012. I said so, probably 8 or 9 years old. When I first watched it, so obviously I don't care about cameras and stuff like that. It was not obvious. People get into that like 5 years old, whatever. Yeah. But I didn't notice it my first time. But then I rewatched it. I don't know when I rewatched it, but I noticed like, oh, we never stopped. He gets off a bus, and then he walks like 2 blocks and goes downstairs to a subway, and then cameras kind of just circling the area, and then we get into this huge fight scene. Kicks everyone's butt. It's like 6 guys, and then he gets a walkie-talkie and he runs off. And this is like, I want to say this is like a 4-minute one take of him, and it's great because you need to remember that all that's choreographed, so everyone needs to remember how to move, how to duck, and they're fighting, so it's a lot going on, and for them to do that in one take is great, and it looks dope. Obviously they didn't do all that the first take, but shit, maybe they did. Highly doubt it, but it's great. It's really fun. The music's there, help emphasizing the scene and adding this super. It's not action packed music, but it's like the Chemical Brothers, they did the soundtrack for it, and it's kind of like rock, but it's like electronic.
I wrote it down as like EDM, like
Yeah.
electronic dance music
Yeah.
almost. Like you could fully expect like EIU's Pink Panthers dancing to this stuff in the background type thing. Like it's something you could easily choreograph a dance to, but it's overlaid with some of the most well choreographed fight scenes, and it just works. It's so good.
I can't co-sign that Pink Panthers thing.
All right then.
I know your girlfriend's there.
Forget my analogy.
No.
But
I can't imagine a dance team dancing to this. Considering I've only seen people fight to it.
maybe not Pink Panthers, but just dancing to it in general, because that is what EDM is for.
He wanted to nod to his girlfriend.
Yeah, shout out. But
Yeah.
I did another note. Okay, so the music also changes a little bit as we go through the movie. There's a scene where Hannah's in the bus with this like British family that she just decides to tag along with for half the movie. I don't really have any issue with them. They're just kind of there. But like, as she tags along, there's this scene that the family's mom and Hannah have together where they're talking, and there's no longer this like heavy, hard-hitting EDM, but more this angelic gospel music almost as they're talking about God. And I don't know if it was just because of that conversation it changed to that, or if that's just how it was, because later at the end of the movie, as the credits start, that same angelic theme plays again.
That is the theme of the movie. So I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. I don't think it's wrong for them to change genres mid-movie.
Oh, I don't think it's wrong either. I was just pointing it out that it's exists.
I think I keep coughing. Jeez. I did just have some Cheetos.
That's
that were,
fair.
Like, super dry. Hold on.
Please hold. Your podcast is important to us.
All right. Yeah, I think it's a great song, and I didn't even notice that it shifted the tempo of it, because I've never heard the album in full. Well, I guess I have since I watched the movie. I never sat down just with the music, but I love it, and it fits well. I mean, that's the point of a score for the most part, unless you're experimental and want to like contrast everything. But yeah, it's great.
One of the other things I wrote down too with this, like in the plot, is it's highly interesting.
For sure.
I am seated this entire movie, and I gotta say, I almost didn't think it would be that way, because I got about like 10 to 15 minutes into this, and there's like, it's this primal setting. They're in the woods hunting deer. Mind you, this is a crazy title card opening too, completely different topic, but like the title card for this movie is insane. I love the way it shows up. So
yeah.
Basically, there's this deer that they're hunting, or some moose-like animal, and Hanna shoots it with an arrow and chases it down or whatever. And after the animal falls over, she looks at it and she goes, "Oh, I just missed your heart," and then pulls out a gun and shoots it in the head. And then boom, title card, Hanna. And I was like, oh my God, what is this movie? So then as we go after the title card, it's still in this like primal setting, but there's like these little bits of technology that you see where it's like the tracking beacon thing, this huge cargo plane flies over eventually. And I'm like, are they just in hiding? Is this post-apocalyptic or whatever? I don't know. And then we get the whole like CIA moving in on the house. And I'm like, I think I'm watching something great here. And yes, I am watching something great here. Yeah. So it just had me interested, because that first like 10 to 15 minutes, it drags a little and it feels kind of like you're getting the slow start, but then it gets right to it after that 15-minute mark hits.
So Kate Blanchett's character is Marissa Weigler. It's German, so I might be mispronouncing it. Is this Marissa Weigler? I forget. And they have this. This is what we were talking about earlier with the important death. They put a mock. He said no. So the plan is at first for Hanna to get caught by the CIA when she presses that button, but her dad's already gone, because that's what they really want. They're just using her for leverage and just to find out where he is. And once she gets caught, she's like, I want to meet with Marissa. So they put her in a room with a fake Marissa, but the real Marissa's watching from another room, and then they're sitting for a minute, then the music rises, and Hannah just snaps her neck. She asked for a hug, and then
she's like sobbing on the
Yeah.
shoulder, like,
and then she just gasps her neck, like, you know, and then that's when everything just.
I don't
goes
actually know, Cam.
crazy.
I don't know what it's like to snap someone's neck.
But, I mean, you saw it though.
I didn't see it.
But
Yeah,
I will agree with your point, and I think this is why I really enjoy this movie is because it has a strong plot other than just killing people. You know, it's like we're doing a lot of that, but it's for a reason. It's not just for the sake of killing people.
It's not just slash bang bang, body die, blood gore.
You know, it's not just that. There's a reason behind it, and I think
feel invested by it.
Oh shit, we didn't even say this girl's like 14, 17. She's a teenager.
She's doing some crazy shit.
Like, what? It's she's so young, and she looks like the sweetest girl too. It's like I said, it's Saoirse Ronan.
She'd make a great Black Widow agent.
Oh man, bro, just dye her hair black. Isn't that Black Widow? Yeah.
Red, but it varies. It varies. I'm not gonna get into it. It'll take me forever.
I thought you were. But yeah, it's she's super young, and she's just killing all these dudes, and it's so badass. And yeah, I think, like I said, I'm not a big action guy, but I think I can really appreciate this film because it has something else to give other than just I can kill people and I have guns and stuff like that.
And something with the combat too in this and the fighting that it reminded me of, and I don't think it's the greatest example, but it's what like stuck to me, is in that subway scene where it's all this one take. It really reminded me of the Netflix era Daredevil show in their fights. I'm going to assume you've not watched it because it's Marvel, but if you have, that series loves one take fight scenes. There are so many hallway scenes where Matt is like just straight up dogging on people in hallways and like throwing them through walls, doors, throwing microwaves at their heads, like just using whatever is around him and just absolutely murking these guys. Mm-hmm. And like there's one other scene too, like in that show where there's a 6-minute-ish one take through a prison as he escapes and is fighting his way out of it.
6 minutes?
Roughly. I think it cuts a little bit in there, like when lights turn off and on. Mm-hmm. But it's disguised to where it looks like it's one thing. So then seeing this one take made me think of that because that's the most amount of one takes I've seen in a project. And the choreography is on point. So we're seated.
That's the, you're saying that 6-minute one's the longest one take you've seen?
No, I'm saying like Daredevil, Netflix's Daredevil version is the most amount of one takes in a series project I've seen.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know about like the 6-minute being longest because I'm sure there's other movies I've seen with one takes that I can't think of.
Yeah, I was thinking about there's two in mind that they're full feature films and they're one take, supposed to be one take. Yeah, but we're past that. Doesn't matter. What else is there? I think I'm blanking.
I got something if you need a second.
Yeah.
All right. The two things that I wrote down that I didn't really like that kind of tie into each other for this larger point is I am arguably lost for most of the movie. Like I'm engaged and I can follow where they're going, but I don't know where they are as they're going, if that makes sense. Because I got it at the start, like they're in the snowy forest. They explain later on where they're at. And then she gets taken. She's in this prison thing. She escapes and she's in this big desert area. And maybe it was me being simple-minded, but I thought she was like in Arizona or Nevada or some random desert thing just from the background mountains. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, it's, CIA. They're back in the States. And then the next scene with Hanna, she's in this like Adobe-like city with camels and stuff walking around. Mm-hmm. So then that threw me off because I was like, is that not where they are? Come to find out, they're in Morocco. And I was like, okay, so the CIA just has a base under Morocco now, which is plausible, I guess. I don't know what the CIA does. But like, then I'm following with that. But every time Eric comes back, I don't know where he is. I cannot follow this man's tracks. Like there's one like maybe 15-30 second scene where he like takes his shirt and pants off and goes swimming, and then it cuts back and I'm like, where in the world was he? Did he get into like the frozen water and swim? I don't know. And then the next time he shows up, he gets on this dock like what I think is near Morocco. I really don't know. There's this like big bridge with like cars going by on it, and he kills these 2 officers and then he leaves. They just don't say where it is. Kate Blanchett's character shows up, Marissa, later with some other people, and they're like, we need to lock this down. This is international security now. He's gone off and killed 2 police officers in a foreign country. And she's like, I'm not going to do that. So I know they're not in America, but I still don't know where he is. And then he comes back again later and is in like this little cabin house thing, lays down, looks. He's got like this nice beach in the background or whatever. And then it cuts again. But that's not where he's meeting Hanna at. So did he like sneak into someone's attic, I guess? Like I don't know where he is.
That is a good point.
I just could not follow him.
But I think they're moving around so much that like I'm fine with not knowing. Like I think because we know what the whole plan is, he's not just moving around like no intent. Like if he's just going from place to place without even us knowing what he's doing, then it's kind of confusing, but we know his end goal. And if you know, his end goal was to meet back up with Hanna. What was it they needed to get past? They didn't need to get passports. They just need to
Hanna needed one to get through a different country after leaving Morocco.
Yeah.
Does it help or harm it if I say this whole thing gets worse?
What gets worse? Oh, well,
not knowing where they are. Because that's the second thing I wrote down.
What?
So there's this scene where in Marissa's like hotel room, I think it's in Morocco. Like I said, I don't know where these people are. If it's not Hanna, I don't know where you are. But I think they're in Morocco. But anyway, Marissa's in this hotel room and she gets a call from Eric. And so they're talking on the phone and she's about to trace it. And then the tech guys don't show up, but somebody's shooting through like the hotel room at Marissa. And the person shooting is wearing the same suit as Eric. So I'm assuming that it's Eric.
Yeah.
And then Marissa dives out like the window to escape because she'll get shot and die otherwise, and that's fine. But then it cuts, and then Eric magically shows back up at a completely different location where Hannah's supposed to be at. So my thinking is, was there just no other CIA agents there except the one guy in tech support? Because if the main guy that you want to get, is right outside your door and you dive out and still have your own cell phone in hand, can you just not call for backup? Or like, how does that work? Because they just ignore it.
Like you killed the only security she had because she was spending the night, so you don't need like 5.
But was it just one guy upstairs outside the door? I mean, it's the CIA. I would hope you'd have a little more people, but
you're supposed to be protecting other people. No, that's the Secret Service. I mean,
yeah.
I don't
know.
I just assume he took care of the one guy that was outside her door. Yeah, because she's not like super high profile.
Maybe I just got the wrong vibe from her, like as she showed up in like that prison early on and she was just running everything and everybody was like, I can take care of it, ma'am. And she was like, shut up and sit down, Bob. Like
I think if you get a A-list artist or movie, then that calls for it. But I don't think CIA's protector or the CIA's needs that 5 people. Like they're not moving like the president. Like they are moving for the president, not like So
all right. I don't know. It was something I noticed. Just felt weird. But what else you got?
What was I gonna say? I really love the side characters. I really enjoy the family. They're all interesting to me.
All right.
And they're all colorful. Because we do have that very fun uncle at the end. He's in he lives in the arcade, it's
like an old amusement park.
Yeah, that arcade. Yeah, that, and it's shut down. But I forget his name. I wish I knew. I can definitely look it up.
I definitely agree. I think the side characters had enough interesting personality traits, but they were side characters, so I wasn't looking at them as much as I was. Probably because I was so invested in this movie's story. It had me hooked the entire time, bro.
I forget. I don't know which ones. I think it's about. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, you get this very fun uncle, and he'd been waiting for this moment because he's had stuff, for her, and you get that family that they were once talking about. Where that's another thing that I wanted to bring up. All right, I think we both kind of had our thoughts on it. That Hannah doesn't really know what a social life really is, or like what a personality truly is, and just different range of emotions, because she's been so confined to this. You have to be low key, no friends. I'm your only family. Your dad. You had a mom, but she died, and so everything is just so foreign to her. She meets up with this family, and it's two parents and a brother and a sister, older sister, little brother, and she interacts with them like, I don't know, she treats them like zoo animals. Or like they treat her like a zoo animal, kind of.
A little bit, but they're like okay with it.
Yeah, they know she's just, and they're young, so they don't, little kids just say the darnest thing. You're like, what's wrong with him, But yeah, they're just so like, something's not right. And Hannah has this script where she needs to, this is my name, is my family, is what I like, and it's all lies. But
yeah,
it's really fun having that interaction. Kind of we experienced we watched Hannah's first like interaction with romance, and what happened? Yeah, so she was they kind of went on the 2-man, to be honest.
They really did. Let's be clear. Yeah.
There was 2 girls and 2 guys on a date, and she just wasn't really feeling the guy. She almost broke his arm when he tried to I think he tried to kiss her, or tried to hug her.
They got very close, and then she swung around him, got on top of him, threw him onto the ground, and had her arm braced up against to snap her neck, and the other girl walks up, laughs, and is like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "You have this man where you could kill him. Don't laugh."
Scaring the hoes, bro. But yeah,
that's a crazy one.
Put him in a full Nelson. But yeah, and then she wasn't really feeling him, but then she kind of kisses the sister. Her name's Sophie, and we don't get much further than that. And I think that I'm fine with that, because we don't need a whole thing, about her being potentially a lesbian. That doesn't really add anything to the story. But I think it is interesting to just have that be there, and you take it as it is. Yeah.
And I had that same thing as a subscript for the deep thought. We're back after the brain turn off moment of last week's episode, where Scott Pilgrim I could not think deeply enough about. But there were 2 things that stuck out the most, I think, as I watched this. And I'm going with the latter as the deep thought. But the first one was ADR. I felt like towards the start of it, there was just an excessive amount of ADR as people walked. The sound of people stepping in their shoes was so loud.
That's Foley.
Or whatever it is.
Okay.
I want you to know I haven't taken a film class yet. I'm getting there. But
he's straight.
I know what I'm talking about. I don't know what term it goes with, if that makes sense. But Marissa's character, as she's stepping over all this tile floor, normally it's going to make a clack sound as it goes, but it's really loud, and the hallways aren't that big, so I don't know if it's just echo or what. So I don't know. But the one that I'm bringing up is the deep thought, is the camera's tendency to continually focus on people's pupils and their eyes, and how dilated they are. So I want to hear your take first on why you think that is, before I give my take on why I think that is.
I would take it as just kind of a realization moment, and then being shocked with them. But the audience is, I don't know. That's just how I would take it. Just how they react to it, and that's probably how we react to it too. Just if you're watching it for the first time, but also it's fitting for the situation they're in. We might do the same thing, but it's for a different reason. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. I don't want to. Yeah.
I think for me, it was kind of showing when Hanna feels happiest as she learns about life outside of her training, I guess you could say. Because it keeps showing when her pupils are dilated or when they're expanded, unless I keep saying that and I'm misunderstanding when to use it properly. But
when eyes go big.
That. But those things keep happening at moments with the family, especially with Sophie, which is where that subscript thing came in. Is like, I think there's something to be said about the intro to romance that Hannah has in this. But I think it's showing like when she's the happiest with her life and like when she's finding something she enjoys outside of killing, because I think she kind of enjoys some of that, it looks like.
Yeah.
But and then that shows up again kind of later at the end of the film whenever she's telling Eric off a little bit and it's like, I'm my own person. I've seen other things that you would never tell me about. Like, there's more to life than killing people because you say they're bad, kill them. But, you know, that's just the way that I kind of looked at that.
Okay. Do you have a second? Or did you say both?
I said both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I didn't answer the first. You didn't really ask me a question for the first one. Yeah, I don't think I ever emphasized how much I love the cinematography. It's gorgeous. They have a bunch of lights going. That's really what sells me. If you use the lights appropriately, like I kind of learned about color theory. I learned it. I guess I did kind of learn it in class, but you really kind of pick up on it when you're watching movies on your own, and you just see how people utilize colors, stuff like that. So I'm really interested in that type of stuff. Especially in this type of movie, because you expect that in probably like a happy movie or, well, horror movie like La La Land.
My favorite.
Yeah. They use that throughout literally the whole thing. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on that for a second. Do you have any?
No, I'm good for ratings if you are.
I'm ready. I'm good for rating. Let's see.
I don't know if this will pick up, but I'm doing a drum roll.
I will rate this movie 5 out of 5. I love this movie. I see no faults. Childhood favorite, which is kind of odd to say. I love the movie where this girl is killing everyone for an hour and 45 minutes, and that's a childhood favorite. Yeah, 5 out of 5. No doubt about it.
All right.
Luke Brewer. I didn't check
the
your
man
letterbox.
who has never liked a movie, everybody.
I didn't check your letterbox, so I don't know if you put it on or not.
All right. What do you think I'm giving? Don't look. What do you think I'm giving it?
You're gonna give it a 4 or 4.5. You're gonna give it a. All right, you're not gonna give it a 5. You're not gonna give it a 5.
You'd be correct.
It's not a 5. It's. Let me pick between 4 and 5. All right, let me think. Let's take a dive into Luke's brain. So it's not a 5 just because it's just not a 5 for him. But will he stand all right, he said the little stuff was that he doesn't know where they are and that the camera was moving a lot. I think that'll bring you down to a 4. Because 4.5 is that's just where we're going to start at. 4.5 or 4?
I'm making him overthink a little.
I do that on a regular basis, brother.
4.5, everybody.
I knew that.
4.5. The little stuff for like the camera movements, I got used to enough to where I didn't care enough about it. But the ones with like, where are they, stuck out enough that I was like, you got to tell me where you're at. Okay. At least for Eric's thing. With Hannah, I could follow along rather well. And I could kind of pick up on that Marissa was like not too far behind. But then Eric's just sliding in and out of wherever he's at. I couldn't tell you where he's at. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I do think it is amazing. I didn't walk away feeling life changed. Right. I think we always talk about that whenever we get to 5s is like, if it has any faults, you're still walking out and you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. I have to watch this all the time. I didn't get that kind of vibe from it, but it is quite amazing. I do recommend it if you haven't seen it. At first glance, I will admit it does look a little iffy because I thought it looked kind of iffy in the first 10 to 15 minutes, like I said, kind of last a little bit longer and just has a slow start to it. But it does pick up very quickly after that, and you're interested in all of it.
It's a time for sure. If you have about an hour 45 to spare, go watch that. Yeah, and it was in 2011 too. I mean, that has nothing to do with anything, but it's great. Yeah.
You just missed 2011?
No, I don't know anything about 2011, but I will say I did have that feeling that we always talk about for 5s when I was 9 years old. And yeah, when I rewatch it,
Cam's experiencing like the enlightenment on his couch watching it.
Man, it's a great movie. But yeah, thank you all for watching. This has been the Two Dudes Talk Movies podcast talking about Hanna. I'm Cameron. Yeah.
What do you mean? What?
Messed you up with that one.
Nobody ever calls him Cameron.
Yes, they. Maybe not a lot of people. Not a lot of people here.
Yeah, not a lot of people here.
Yeah. I'm Cameron.
I'm Luke, not Lucas. You'd think, but no.
And we will see you next week. Bye.
Peace.